The biggest technological shift of this decade probably won't happen the way most people imagine. There won't be one single announcement, no giant explosion, no overnight revolution. One morning, someone will simply get more done than everyone else. Not because they're smarter, not because they work harder, because they stopped working alone. And by the time everyone else notices, the definition of work may have already changed. The strange part is, most people think this story is about artificial intelligence. It isn't. It's about work, about careers, about business, about the way ambitious people have worked for generations. Think about it. No matter who you are, a student, a creator, an entrepreneur, or someone working a 9-to-5, your success has always been limited by one simple fact. You can only do so much by yourself. There are only 24 hours in a day, only one brain making decisions, only two hands doing the work. For centuries, the solution was always the same: hire more people, build a bigger team, grow one employee at a time. That wasn't just how businesses scaled. It became our definition of work itself. But what if that definition is about to become outdated? Here's the assumption. Almost all of us grew up believing work means doing the work yourself. If you're a writer, you write. If you're a designer, you design. If you're a researcher, you research. The more work you complete, the more valuable you become. For generations, that idea made perfect sense, because intelligence could only exist inside a human mind. Software could calculate. Software could store information. Software could automate repetitive tasks. But software couldn't think through a goal, make decisions, adapt, or carry work forward on its own. That's why every business, every startup, and every career eventually reached the same limit: human capacity. If you wanted to grow, you hired another person, then another, and another. But something fundamentally different is beginning to happen. For the first time, intelligence is starting to move from answering questions to completing objectives. Not perfectly, not independently, but far beyond what traditional software was ever designed to do. That changes the question entirely. The future may not ask, "How much work can you do?" It may ask, "How much intelligence can you direct?" If all of this still sounds like a distant future, you're not alone. Most people imagine this transformation is still years away. But the surprising part is that many of the building blocks already exist. Some of the world's biggest technology companies are no longer asking, "How can AI answer better?" They're asking something much bigger. How can AI help people get real work done? Instead of creating software that waits for your next command, they're building systems that can research, analyze information, use digital tools, and help carry out entire workflows. Not because humans are becoming less important, but because human attention is becoming more valuable. This isn't happening inside science fiction. It's happening inside real companies. Microsoft is building AI copilots to help people accomplish everyday work. OpenAI is developing agent-based systems designed to carry out multi-step tasks. Different companies, different approaches, but all moving in the same direction. And history teaches us something interesting. When competitors with completely different strategies all begin moving toward the same destination, it's usually because they've seen something the rest of the world hasn't fully recognized yet. Which raises a fascinating question. If the company building tomorrow's technology are preparing for a world where people work alongside AI, what happens to everyone else? Who keeps preparing for yesterday's world? So what does all of this actually mean for the rest of us? It means the biggest advantage of the next decade may not belong to the smartest people or the people who work the hardest. It may belong to the people who learn how to work with intelligence. Imagine two entrepreneurs starting the exact same business. Both have the same budget, the same experience, the same number of hours in a day, but one of them still does everything alone: research, writing, marketing, customer support, data analysis, planning. every decision, every task, every late night. The other entrepreneur works differently, not because they're more talented, but because they know how to direct intelligent systems. One AI helps research, another organizes information, another drafts ideas, another analyzes data, another helps plan the next move. Suddenly, one person begins producing the kind of output that once required an entire team. Notice something important. The advantage isn't that AI became human. The advantage is that one human stopped thinking like a single worker and started thinking like the leader of a team. That's why the biggest shift of the AI era may not be from employee to unemployed. It may be from individual contributor to intelligence orchestrator. And if that's true, then we may be living through the final chapter of the generation that believed success meant carrying everything alone. For a long time, the most valuable skill was learning how to do the work. Tomorrow, it may become learning how to direct the work. Think about a movie director. They don't do every job on a film set. Yet, they're responsible for the final outcome. Why? Because they know how to coordinate specialized talent toward one objective. The same idea is beginning to appear inside knowledge work. Instead of managing only people, many professionals may soon manage intelligent systems designed for different jobs. One specializes in research, another in writing, another in programming, another in design, another in data analysis, another in planning individually. They're useful together. They become something entirely different, not one smarter chatbot, but a coordinated system working toward a shared objective. The real skill won't be asking better questions. It will be designing better systems, knowing which intelligence should do what, when to trust it, when to challenge it, when to step in, and when to let it keep working. Because in the future, your productivity may depend less on what you can personally finish and more on how effectively you can lead a team that never existed before. If that sounds like a simple productivity upgrade, it isn't. Because once intelligence can work alongside people, competition itself begins to change. For most of history, people competed against other people. One designer against another, one developer against another, one company against another. Everyone was limited by the same constraint: human capacity. But what happens when one person can suddenly accomplish the work that once required 5, 10, or even 20 people? The rules don't just improve, they change. The person working alone is no longer competing with another individual. They're competing with someone who has built an entire intelligent system around themselves. A system that researches while they sleep, analysis while they meet, plans while they create, and keeps improving while the day goes on. This isn't about working harder. It's about removing the bottlenecks that have always limited human potential. That's why the next competitive advantage may not come from having more experience, or more employees, or even more intelligence. It may come from building a better partnership between human judgment and artificial intelligence. Because in the coming years, the biggest gap may not exist between humans and AI. It may exist between people who know how to work with AI and people who still try to do everything by themselves. No one knows exactly how this future will unfold. Some predictions will prove wrong, some technologies will disappear, and some ideas will change everything. But one thing already seems clear: the way we work is beginning to evolve. The question isn't whether AI will keep improving, the question is whether we will learn to improve alongside it. Because the people who thrive may not be the ones who resist change, or the ones who blindly embrace it. They'll be the ones who understand it, who learn it, and who use it with intention. Maybe years from now, people will look back at this moment the same way we look back at the beginning of the internet. Not because everyone noticed it, but because almost nobody did history doesn't remember the people who saw change after everyone else. It remembers the people who recognized it while it still looked like nothing. Maybe we really are the last generation to work alone. And if we are, the future has already started. You're just deciding whether you'll arrive early or late. If you want to stay ahead of the next technological shift, subscribe to the Nixovian, because by the time everyone is talking about it, it won't be the future anymore. And in the next documentary, we'll explore an even bigger question. And now you think, what happens when companies don't just hire people, they hire intelligence? I'll see you in the next documentary.